Okay, so when we start, we won't be able to talk until you turn that on, but just wait until we get it started. Okay, so we'll make sure the prop's clear. Just call prop clear before you start it up. Master on.
You ready for that?
Yep. Beacon on, and then mag start.
So beacon is on.
Yep, I always leave that on.
Okay.
And then anytime the airplane's not in use, I make sure that's...
Pull that out.
Yep. So yell out the window, clear prop.
Clear prop!
And then, yep, hand on the throttle. Test. Okay, so continue with the checklist here. We've already started. Now we're just kind of watching the oil pressure here. This one is slow to come up. This is pretty common for those 0300s for it to be a few minutes. This one's also got a little bit of air in the lines. We'll just keep an eye on that. Lights as required. Beacon's all we need right now. Mixture as required. If you were like in Colorado or something, we'd want to...
High elevation.
Yep,
And
we want to lean that. All right, pre-taxi, taxi, seatbelt, shoulder harnesses, make sure you're buckled up. We need to do that before we start taxiing. Flaps up. Go ahead and raise the flaps for me. Go ahead and raise the flaps for me.
Okay. I couldn't hear over him.
Yeah, sorry. Test. How do I sound?
You sound fine.
Test. Okay. Avionics on. We've already got that ATIS, AWAS. We'll go ahead and listen to that. This should be the weather. So, COM 1, COM 2. This used to be COM 3, but now we don't have it. This doesn't have a radio in it. So, we're talking, listening. So, we're not talking or listening on COM 2. So, this is COM 2. We want to listen.
29er, 59er. Favored runway, 34.
34 is the favored runway.
NOTAMs, all surfaces, work in progress. Snow removal, runway 34, field conditions, 3, 80% compacted snow, 20% ice. Weather advisories in effect for mountain obscuration. Pilot weather reports are requested. Contact Palmer Radio on 123.6 for traffic advisories. Advise on initial contact. You have Delta. Palmer report. Information Delta, time 21100. Wind 340 at 9er. Visibility 10.
Information Delta.
12000. Temperature -5. Dew point -9er. Altimeter 29er, 59er.
29er, 59er. So 29er, 5.
Surfaces work in progress. Snow removal. Runway
Okay.
34 field conditions.
Checks with
3,
approximate
80%
elevation
snow,
here.
20%
It's like
ice.
249, and we're showing
Weather advisories
200.
in effect for mountain
That looks pretty good.
obscuration. Pilot weather reports are
Okay, so we've listened. We've got Delta. Winds are out of the north. Okay, we got the AWAS or AFIS actually technically here with Delta. Altimeters in there. Transponders on alt. Sometimes at big airports you'll turn those off. You don't need to do that at smaller airports. ADSB's on. Anytime this one's on, ADSB's on. Radio test. We're going to test that here in a second when we call the flight service station. Taxi light, we'll leave that off. Brake test. When we go out of parking, just kind of we'll tap the brakes.
Okay.
Make sure those work properly. Attitude indicator test. So make sure the attitude, line on line, point them. We're going to test all this other stuff over there. So I like to put the checklist kind of right there when I'm using it, and then we'll do everything else at the end of the runway over here.
You have controls?
I have the controls.
You have controls.
Palmer Radio, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray Charlie ramp with Delta VFR to the west.
2418 X-ray Palm Radio, good afternoon. Traffic 1 aircraft taxi for departure 34. Have an aircraft transitioning south of the field, we eastbound. And 1 aircraft in the pattern 34. Verify information Delta.
Appreciate the update. We have Delta for 3148 X-ray. It must not have heard me.
Delta is the weather that we heard.
Yeah, that just lets him know we have that, and then like if we don't have it, then we could get it, or he could update us on the weather. All right, my controls, by the way, you already said that, but we'll just reiterate.
Your controls?
We got about 3 inches of snow last night, so I was kind of afraid we weren't going to be able to taxi on this, but the rest of the taxiways are clear, so we're actually taxiing with no problem here. So
Now that berm may be the only.
yeah, I think it's going to be okay. We'll just kind of go really slow when we go by these guys.
Traffic, Cessna 534, turning final, 434. Hey, there's our final. You guys going to be full stop on the runway again?
Okay, she's clear.
That'll give you guys in the face.
This guy's looking good over here. Okay, I'm about ready to pass it off to you.
Okay.
If you'd like to take back over and get on this taxiway.
Over the Butte 3000 maneuver.
Okay, you about ready?
Yep, I'm just putting on sunglasses.
Yeah, now I need to do that. You ready to take back over?
My controls?
Your controls. Just keep it about 1,000. I might have you a little high with the snow there. And just watch your wings here with this everything going on right now.
Holding short at 34 golf.
Yeah, looking good.
Palmer traffic Cessna 467 on the upwind from 34 Palmer.
So we're on Alpha right now, taxiing down to this other runway. Runway 1028 is closed, so we technically don't have to make a radio call, but I'm still going to make a radio call. I know it's closed, but I don't care. I still make it. You never know when somebody's not paying attention to the NOTAMs.
Palmer traffic, Cessna 5 Takeoff, turning final for 34.
Palmer traffic, Supercode 4221 Zulu is...
Alright, nobody's coming on this side. Slow us down a little bit.
Downwind 34, staying on the side.
Palmer traffic, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, crossing 1028 at Alpha. Taxi to 34, Palmer traffic.
Palmer traffic, Skyhawk 471 for Foxtrot, on base for runway 34, Palmer.
Okay, he's on base. We'll do our run-up where we did the other day.
Okay.
Hyperlands crossing 10 Alpha for 34, Palmer.
So that's somebody behind us?
Yeah.
Palmer traffic, Cessna 467 leaving the downwind midfield 7 hay flat, last call, Palmer. Palmer traffic, Skyhawk 471 for Foxtrot, on final for runway 34, Palmer.
Okay, I've got the controls.
You got controls?
My controls, grab your checklist,
Your controls.
pull it out, and see where we were on the checklist there. Nobody's coming this way. Nobody's coming on the right. We're going to taxi right. These berms are pretty low. We're going to stay well clear of those.
Did brake check on that already?
Yep,
Taxi.
my brakes are good. Okay.
Attitude indicator test?
Okay, that's where we left off. And what I like to do is I like to do all these at once here. So nobody's coming. We're just going to point ourselves into the wind. You can see these flags right here. They're just kind of pointed to the north. Looks like winds are out of the north, just like we heard on the radio. All right, so first things first, wherever your thumb's pointing, that's which elevator needs to come up. Check which aileron needs to come up, and then check your elevators here. Make sure they're coming up, and you can check the rudders on the bottom there. So check your controls.
Okay.
Elevator up.
And rudder, do you have to look back or?
And you might not be able to see it right now with the fog.
Right.
But, all right, so that's good. All right, so from here what we're gonna do is we're gonna do everything. So what we do is we start out with 1700 RPM on this plane, and every airplane's a little bit different. So you just kind of have to read through the POH and see what your airplane requires. So set 1700. We're not moving, so that's 0. Line on line, point on point. That's roughly our altitude because we've set the altimeter correctly. Ball centered, line on line. Now, we want to make sure this is lined up with the mag compass. This is our heading indicator. We'll have to do that every 15 minutes or so. 0 on the amp, slightly above. Our suction is looking good. Should be somewhere between 5 and 6.5, somewhere in there. We got good oil pressure, good oil temps. Now what we want to do is we want to check the mags at 1700. So this is one you want to pay attention to because you can go all the way off.
You can go
it'll
left
kill the
or
engine.
right.
So go 2 clicks to the right mag and watch this when you do that. So 2 clicks.
And it slightly drop.
Yep, slightly drop, less than 150. Back to both. Okay, back up. Now go 1 click. Slight drop, back to both. They're within 75 of each other. This POH doesn't say, but less than 150 total, 75 between each other. Now we'll check the carb heat. When we turn on the carb heat, we should get a drop. We got a drop.
Yep.
Now we're going to go to idle, make sure it doesn't die. If it dies, that means there's something wrong. Doesn't die. Carb heat off. Make sure the flaps are up. We're ready to go. Ready?
Ready?
Okay. Run through that checklist. Make sure everything's good to go. So where we left off on the pre-taxi, and then through the run-up. We got all the run-up
Brakes,
done.
fuels, both.
Yep.
Selector on both.
Okay.
Trim.
Trim's right here.
Right here.
Make sure it's on this arrow right here.
On the, let's see.
It's kind of hard to see, but there's a little arrow right here. We need to make that white, but there's a line on the arrow that just
there's the
centers
arrow.
it.
So right there.
Yep.
Flight controls, we tested that, right?
Yep.
And then instruments, we just ran through that.
Yep, those are all the instruments we
Yep.
checked.
Mixture, best power.
Okay.
That's in
That's full rich,
full rich.
for today at
Okay.
this airfield.
Prime in and lock.
Okay, make
And
sure
it is
that's
locked.
locked. If that were to come out, then we could lose our engine.
Yep. 1600 RPM.
It's
Or-
actually 1700.
Okay, 17
Yeah,
for the
CH.
H, yep. And we did that. Mag test, we did that.
Yep.
Carb heat, did that. Vacuum,
That's this, the suction.
and that would be at that 1700
Yep.
testing, correct? Amps, volts,
Yep, so we have
above 0.
above that.
Yep. Oil pressure is,
Right
Up.
there.
yep, and oil temp.
Oil temp's looking good.
Good.
It's still cold, but it's warming up.
Idle check
And
closed.
that's what we checked with the carb heat on. We made
Okay.
sure it
Yep.
wasn't going to die.
And
then you
throttle
can adjust,
friction.
You can adjust this if you feel like it's too tight or too
Okay.
loose.
So if
Yeah.
it starts to back out or something like that, you
Yep.
can, okay,
Okay, now we'll just run the quick pre-takeoff checklist and we'll be ready to go.
okay,
So normal is 0, so if you see 0 to 10.
Yep.
So go ahead and make sure the flaps are up. And there is this gauge here too, but it's usually not super accurate, so
Okay.
I always just look outside.
mixture, best power, carb
Okay.
heat off.
Make sure you're touching it, touch the carb heat.
Okay.
Make sure it's off. That's one
Carb
that
heat.
can bite you in the rear end if you leave the carb heat on during a takeoff.
Yeah. Pilot headset is adjusted.
We don't have pitot heat.
Okay,
Transponder, that's on out. Only
Okay.
needed for certain types of airspace.
okay,
Heading bug, we don't have one of those. Doors and windows,
Yep.
locked and latched. Landing light on. Go ahead.
lights,
Time note.
Probe on,
So
time note.
1307. And whenever you go do cross-country stuff, you'll want to hack the time. And then brakes release. We're ready to go. You ready?
ready,
All right, your controls.
my controls,
Your controls.
and
Someone's on final, but go ahead and make a right-hand turn for me.
alright,
Go right brakes when you do this.
Southeast, inbound 34. 6164 Foxtrot, bomb radio, welcome traffic, one aircraft.
A little more power.
Runway 34, and an aircraft depart west about 3 minutes ago.
to get going and then it back
Yeah.
off a little bit.
Yeah.
Copy traffic, 64 Foxtrot.
All right, so there is somebody on final, I heard. I see him over there. They're kind of hard to see with the fog in the window, but when we get over here, we'll kind of taxi that way so you can see. So cheat left and look right whenever we get closer to this
Okay.
runway over here. Yeah, I like the way you're looking out there, those berms.
Here he is,
Yeah,
above us, coming in.
yeah, hug that side, and then kind of nose over this way. Yeah, right here.
Palmer traffic, Cessna 6164 Foxtrot, 3 miles to the west of the field. We're at 2000, going to be entering the left downwind at a 45.
All right, you're good.
Alright,
Just don't take off yet because he's still on the runway.
right,
Okay, he's airborne, so we're good. Final's clear. Let's
final's
get going.
clear.
Palmer traffic, Cub 210 to the left downwind, 34.
Palmer traffic, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, taking 34 for a west departure, Palmer. Final's still clear. We're getting lined up on the runway here. Usually drive out a little bit more straight and then come over.
Okay,
When the runway doesn't have all this snow on it, I'll take up less, but it's slick, so I like to err on the side of caution. All right, ready to go?
ready.
All right, full
And we
power.
just double checking roll at 54.
Full power, yeah, 52 knots.
Or 52.
Inner dial. Let's go.
Okay. Full power.
Wheels on the floor. Put those ailerons into the wind a little bit. Keep your hand on the throttle in case you need it. A little bit of aileron into the wind there. Now we're just waiting. Waiting for that 52
Power
knots.
coming alive.
Roger. Airspeed's coming alive.
Airspeed
Oil
coming
pressure's
alive.
in the green. No rush
And
on rotate.
60 on rotate.
Gentle back on the...
Gentle pull back.
Yeah, just gentle on the nose. See how the airplane's crabbing over? Give me some right rudder. And nose down just a little bit. Use that trim if you need it.
Okay.
Take a glance at your ball. What do you think that means?
Step on the right.
Yeah, a little bit more right rudder.
Pull out right.
Okay.
Use that trim to your advantage. Very
Cool.
good. Yeah, come right a little bit. We're getting blown over.
76410, crisscross and trunk, headed gonna cross over midfield at 2400 with information echo.
Climb out at 70 knots. Well, actually, it's technically 74 in this plane. 74 knots is VY. That's best climb. That gets us up at a quick rate. Oh, it's beautiful out here.
Palmer traffic, Cup 21 Zulu, left base, 34, stop and go.
Very good. Love it.
So is it common to try to keep the hand near the throttle for quite a while?
So my rule is if I'm coming in for a landing or if I'm taking off, power on stalls, you want to keep your hand on the throttle, but now that we're up here, you can take it off.
Okay.
All right, we're climbing away. We're safely airborne. Flaps up.
Yep.
Lights off.
Lights off.
After takeoff checklist is complete. And when we start doing short takeoff, soft field, that sort of thing, you'll see why we do that, because that way we don't forget to raise the flaps.
Okay.
And that way we don't forget to take off the landing and taxi lights. All right, so kind of point us that way, kind of angle out here. We'll do a standard traffic departure where you can either go straight out or you can kind of make a bit out to left.
Okay.
And start climbing out to about, we'll start climbing out to about 2,000 for now.
Takeoff 471 for Foxtrot, turning base for runway 34, Palmer.
Palmer traffic, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, departing the airspace to the northwest. Palmer.
Palmer traffic, Cessna 6164 Foxtrot, left downwind for 34.
Okay, so mainly looking outside for me while I'm getting us set up for maneuvers. I think you're fixing to put some goggles on here for a second.
Okay. Do I need to do any clearing turns or
Not
once we
yet.
get to altitude?
Well, we'll be doing those once we get set up for maneuvers. But just be looking outside, making sure nobody's going to run into us, climbing up to 2,000. Okay, my controls for a second.
Your controls?
My controls.
Your controls.
Throw those guys on.
Final for runway 34, Palmer.
I'm looking outside.
Silver Cessna, overhead, midfield, 2,700 feet, headed towards Connect, Palmer.
Goggles on.
Okay, when you're ready to take back over.
My controls?
Your controls. Okay. Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, turn left heading 240.
Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, turning 240.
All you gotta do is say 240.
Oh, 240. And then that. Okay.
Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, climb and maintain 2,500.
2,500. Skyhawk 3148 X-ray.
Very good. Take a look at that ball.
Yep.
Alright, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, turn left heading 230.
230. Skyhawk 3148 X-ray. Clear left.
Clear. And it's not a very big turn. We're just working on radios while we're flying on instruments here. And like I said before, so you're primarily looking at your attitude indicator, and you're taking quick glances at these other ones and moving back. It's called the hub and spoke method, where this is your primary instrument, this is your control instrument, and your power is also your control instrument. So if you're trying to control speed, then you're going to be using your power too. But when we climb at full power.
Okay.
Alright, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, climb and maintain 3,000.
3,000. Skyhawk 3148 X-ray. Climbing.
Alright, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, turn right heading 240.
240. Skyhawk 3148 X-ray.
Very good.
Clear left.
240 is to the
Oh,
right.
to the right. Sorry.
You're good.
Yep. Clearing right.
Roger. We're clear. Oh, it's the perfect day out here. Sorry you can't look outside.
Yeah.
Alright, you won't be on those very long. We're just
Oh,
doing
that's
some
fine.
basic control.
Yep.
Alright, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, turn left heading 210.
210. Skyhawk 3148 X-ray. Clear left.
Clear. And that's a good point too when you're flying on
Skyhawk November 70052 on final runway 34.
when you're flying on instruments, you can't clear outside. So make sure you have whoever's with you say clear left, like you're asking it a question, and I'll come back and I should say, yeah, you're clear. That way your instructor or your evaluator is actively clearing as well. Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, descend 3,000, turn left heading 180.
Descend 3,000. 180. Skyhawk 3148 X-ray.
Alright, so you got the power.
Clear left.
Clear. Use the power to your advantage. That's a control tool you have. So to bring you back down, there you go. Make sure you're staying coordinated. Okay, so Alaska's kind of an interesting thing. So we're actually getting outside the Palmer area, so we should be listening to 22.8 out here and clearing for traffic out here in the Meadow Lakes section here. So I'm going to go to 122.8. Very good. Continue that descent. And then you got this tool too. It says we're descending at 500 feet per minute.
Okay.
So that's good. Corrections there. Making sure you're using those rudder pedals. Staying coordinated.
Wasilla traffic, Cessna 7 Mike 0 is on downwind 4, Wasilla.
Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, turn left heading 190.
190, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray.
There's Wasilla over there.
Clear left.
Yep, clear left. We're listening to the radio. Okay. We're going to go ahead and have you come off of those. My controls.
Air controls.
My controls. Take those off.
Hey,
That's
there's
a
a
good
guy
start.
outside.
Throw on your sunglasses if you want, and I'll give the controls back to you. Alright, your
My
controls.
controls.
Your controls. Alright, just drive us straight ahead for just a minute.
Traffic, Cessna 467 westbound, north side of the hay flats, 3,000 hay flats.
3000 is
So the
hay
hay
flats.
flats is right over here.
Yep.
Wasilla traffic, Cessna 7 Mike 0 is on base, runway 4, Wasilla.
Hay flats traffic, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray 3000. We're about 1 mile northwest of the hay flats. And this is an Alaska thing where we're just kind of notifying people, letting them know we're flying around out here.
Yep.
Okay. Alright, so now what I want to do is I want to move on and I want to go ahead and do the clearing turns.
Alright.
So we have Wasilla over here, so we want to stay away from them. But keep trucking kind of this way.
Okay.
And let's kind of make a clearing turn to the left and then back to the right. So we want to go at least 90 degrees, look behind you, look beside you, and then come back another right 90,
Okay.
at least 90.
You ready for me to clear left?
Yep,
Clearing left.
Roger.
7 Mike 0, final runway 4, Wasilla.
Oh, it's beautiful out here today.
Okay.
Alright,
Clearing right.
clear. Okay.
Still traffic, 983 Blue Noise Cessna on right base.
Okay, so now I want to do slow flight. So make sure nobody's out here. I'm clearing all the way to the right. I don't see anybody. There's Wasilla. I know there's some traffic over there. But so we just kind of want to stay in this area right here. If we go too far south, there's some restricted areas down there. We're well away from those, but I just kind of want to stay right in this area right here for today.
Hay flats traffic, Cessna 467.
Roger.
North side of the hay flats, eastbound, 2,000, slow flight installs, hay flats.
Okay, so he's eastbound. He should be clear of us.
I don't see him, but
Okay, so let's do some slow flight. Stay here at 3,000 for me, and I want you to get set up for slow flight. So seatbelts on.
seatbelts on. Selector to both. Full rich.
Yep.
And pitch for 50.
So now what we want to do is, let's go ahead and leave the landing and taxi lights off. We're
Okay.
pretty visible today. So get in the wide arc, which we're already there, and lower the flaps. We'll
Okay.
throw them all in.
All flaps.
Yep. And just make sure you're looking outside when we're doing all this so we don't run into somebody.
So are you wanting me to do stall or?
Nope, slow flight. So
Okay.
don't let us pitch up too high. Fight against it so we don't climb up. Okay?
Flaps all the way down?
Got flaps all the way down.
Wasilla traffic.
You had a little bit more. Now, so now we're using power for altitude and pitching for airspeed. So we're 100 feet high, so we need to reduce that power a little bit because we're below LD max, and so we're using power for altitude.
Right.
We want to pitch for airspeed, so we want to fly right at the top, or the bottom technically, of
At the
that
bottom,
wide arc.
okay.
So we're actually flying a tiny bit too fast, so
Yep.
pitch up a little bit. And then you can see we're descending as you do that, so give me a little power.
Traffic, Cessna 7 Mike 0
And take a look outside while you're doing this.
Alright.
Stay coordinated, a little bit more right rudder. Alright, a little bit more power. You're losing altitude.
Losing altitude.
A little bit more power.
And I need to go a little bit slower.
There you go. Alright, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, turn right heading 210.
210, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray. Clear right.
Clear. And nose up a little bit, that'll help you bleed off that airspeed just a tiny bit. Now try not to use too much bank. You want to stay between
Okay.
5 and 15 degrees when we're at these low airspeed. That'll keep us from stalling. The more we turn, the higher our load factor is, so
Right.
we're more likely to stall when we're like that. A little bit more power.
More power.
Westfield traffic, Cessna 7 Mike Sierra is on base 4, Westfield.
Skyhawk 314 at X-ray, turn right heading 270.
270, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray. Clear right?
Clear. And notice how for right turns you need more rudder than for left turns you almost need none. You almost need right rudder to turn left to keep that ball center because we're at a slow airspeed and high power setting.
Westfield traffic, Cessna 7 Mike Sierra is on final of 4, Westfield.
Okay. About ready to do stalls?
Whatever you tell me.
Okay, so do you want to start out doing a stall or do you want me to do it and then you try it?
Well, you'll be able to recover if I can't, right?
Oh yeah.
So I guess might as well jump into the deep end, right?
Okay, I'm going to coach you through this first one. This is not lesson 1, just so you guys are aware. This is lesson 2, and I demoed these
Thought we
last
got
time,
a video
so.
on.
Yeah, so this is not like brand new. I'm having a student do a stall without any kind of coaching. We've got some traffic over here. So turn right to, let's do 240.
240, turning left,
Yeah.
Skyhawk 3148 X-ray.
Okay, he's well clear.
Here,
All right,
left.
so we're going to use...
03 at Mike's maneuvering on the approach center runway 18 Wolf Lake.
Okay, you hear that? That
Wolf
means-
Lake.
No, the stall horn.
Oh, stall horn.
So
Yep.
that's good. When you do slow flight, you should actually hear a little bit of that. So, all right, so I'm going to coach you through this. He's
Here he is.
maneuvering that way. He's on downwind is what he's doing for Palmer, or for Westhill, I believe. All right, so seatbelts on. Fuel selector
Belts on.
valve on both.
Sleep vectors all both.
Make sure best
Start.
power. Throttle's set for now. Go ahead and turn the landing and taxi lights on.
7 Mike Sierra is on the go.
Landing tech rates on.
Okay, so now I want to go idle power.
You want me to do that yet?
Yeah, go ahead
Or
and go
talk
idle
through it?
power.
Okay.
Carb heat.
Idle power.
Pitch for 60. Carb
Pitch
heat.
for 60. Repeat on.
Use your
Okay.
trim. Pitch for
Pitch
60
for
knots.
60 knots.
Okay. Gently raise that nose on the horizon. Keep your hand on the throttle.
Okay.
Gently raise that nose on the horizon. Put that nose on the horizon. And she will stall.
Stall.
First
Horn.
indication.
Force indication.
Second indication.
Wing buffeting right now. Second indication.
Max.
Max power.
Relax.
Relax.
First notch of flaps.
First notch of flaps.
Carb heat.
Repeat off.
That'd be carb heat, then first notch. It's good.
Okay.
And just put that nose on the
On the
horizon.
horizon.
Watch your rudder.
Yep.
A little bit more right rudder. And just waiting for what now?
Waiting for a positive rate of climb.
Second notch.
Second notch. 1, 2, 3.
And now we're looking for a positive rate
Rate
of
of
climb
climb.
at 70 knots.
At 70 knots. Or positive rate of climb. Final flaps.
Looking good. That was really good for a first try. Let me try one time here. My controls.
Your controls.
My controls. Clear right.
Clearing right.
Right is clear. Making a turn. We're just kind of staying in this area right here is what we're doing.
Okay.
And we want to end the maneuver no lower than 1,500 feet. We're at 3,000, so we maybe lost like 200 or 300 feet there. We didn't really lose too much.
Sorry, I didn't do more of a stall.
Yeah. No, that was good. Things that you probably weren't even noticing, though, is you want to make sure that you're maintaining a heading.
Okay.
You want to make
That's right.
sure that you're staying coordinated.
Yep.
When you recover, max power, relax at the same time. Carb heat, first notch of flaps. All right, seatbelts on, fuel selector
Belts on.
valve on both.
Belts on. Both.
We're in the wide arc. Lower all the flaps here, and I'm going to fight against it while it tries to climb on me here. I'll fight against this to keep us from climbing, and then landing and taxi lights on. Now we're right at 3,000. Let's go on a 060. I don't see anybody on a 060 heading out there. Do you?
No, I do not.
Okay, so 060 heading. I'm staying coordinated with my rudder pedals, and then idle power, carb heat. Now I'm just pitching for 60 like I'm going to land, and notice like I'm using the trim here,
Yep.
because like you're a little bit aggressive. And now the airplane just will kind of fly here.
That's what you were talking about.
Yeah,
with
so
flaps.
now we'll put the nose on the horizon.
Okay.
And with the terrain, it's going to be actually slightly above that, or below that terrain.
Yep.
First
Stall horn.
indication. Second indication.
Buffeting.
There's the nose
there it
drop.
is, and nose
Power.
Power.
First notch.
Notch.
Or sorry, carb heat. First notch.
First notch.
And I'm not in a hurry to get that nose back up. I'm just kind of gently raising it up.
Okay.
And using ailerons and coordinated rudder to keep that nose up.
Yeah.
Positive rate.
Positive rate, second.
Second notch.
And when you get to 70 knots, final.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And we're just waiting. And this is just my technique. It's legally not required to do this, but it's just you will lose less altitude if you do it this way. So
Okay.
I've always found that it's, and this works in Cherokees as well as Cessnas. So, and I think actually a lot of planes. So there's 70, positive rate of climb still, flaps up. Too easy. All right, clear left.
Clear left.
And see that? We're on a 30-degree bank.
Yep.
And coordinated as we come around here, slightly descending.
Flight traffic, Comanche 6 Yankee Lima is to the west, be overflying the field, eastbound 2300.
Okay. You want to try power on stall now?
Okay.
Okay.
What's traffic, Cessna 757.
How about I demo this one
Yep.
first and then you
Sounds
do
good.
the power on stall. Okay, so let's use a 210 heading. That looks well clear in front of us there. 210, so I'm going to start slowing us down. We want the carb heat off for this and we want the flaps up because we're simulating a takeoff. So we're maintaining our heading. Now what we're going to do is we're going to reduce the power to slow us down to rotate speed, which is about 52 knots. So 210, staying coordinated with rudder there. And when we pitch up, we're going to need a lot of right rudder.
Okay.
So somewhere right.
Stall horn.
We already have an indication, but that's
Yep.
okay. There's 55. I'm going to go full power. Pitch that nose up. Lots of right rudder. I'm putting these two crotches right on the horizon.
Yep.
And now we're just waiting for it to drop. Just waiting, 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 waiting.
Stop it.
There it
And
is.
then drop.
Just gently lower that nose. And then put that nose on the horizon slowly. And now we're just waiting for a positive rate of climb.
Positive rate of climb.
There it is. And then we're already clean, so we don't have to do anything else. Okay, you ready to take over?
My controls.
Your controls. We're still clear straight ahead if you just want to do it right there. Alright, so seatbelts on, fuel selector valve on both. Mixture best power. Carb heat staying off, landing and taxi lights on.
On.
You can pull your power back and start slowing us down. Just keep us at this altitude. Bring that nose up when you do that just to bleed that airspeed off. And as soon as you watch your heading, so really gentle controls with rudder pressure there. And right somewhere in here, let's just start right here, go full power.
Full power.
Yep, and just gently raise that nose when you do it. A little bit of right rudder pressure.
Right rudder pressure.
Just keep it right here, and just keep it right here, and she will stall.
Okay. Stall horn.
Yep,
First indicator.
I feel wing buffeting.
Buffeting.
Just wait for it to drop. There it is.
Alright.
Max, relax, keep your hand on the throttle.
Okay.
And just gently raise it back up.
Okay.
Just on the horizon's all we need. Use that trim and watch your ball.
Alright.
That was really good. I was on the controls a little bit, but
Yep.
I'm pretty happy with that.
Okay.
That's a good start. Let's do some couple unusual attitudes, and then I'll show you something new.
Alright.
Alright, I want you to look down.
Your controls.
My controls, thank
Your
you.
controls.
I want you to look down and close your eyes, and when you
Okay.
open your eyes, I want you to recover the airplane.
So my eyes are closed.
Yep.
Picking
like
up the pencil.
You fell asleep, and then you woke back up, and then the airplane's not in a position where you thought it was. So look down, close your eyes.
Okay. Eyes are down.
When I say recover, I'll say your controls, and then you recover.
Okay.
Alright, your controls.
My controls.
Your controls.
Or pitch up, and then we roll out.
Yeah, so we were
We're
nose
nose
high
high.
in a bank, so
So.
power,
Down.
nose down,
Down.
and then roll out. Okay, let's try that again.
Okay. Looking down.
My controls.
Eyes. Your controls.
My controls.
Eyes are closed.
Roger. My controls.
Willow traffic in white caps.
Your controls.
My controls.
Your controls.
We are nose.
There you go. We were nose up slightly. It kind of.
And And roll out.
Not too bad.
Okay.
So the hard thing about these maneuvers is that these airplanes are very stable, and so they'll kind of just go back to the position on their own.
Okay.
So it's just very gentle controls when you do that.
All right.
All right, head down, eyes closed for me.
Okay.
All right, your controls.
My controls. Roll out first.
Power out, roll out, nose
Roll out. And roll out.
Not too bad. Head down again, my controls.
Okay, your controls.
Your controls.
My controls are down.
Yep, power out.
Power out. And
Yep, and then straight up. That was very good.
there we go.
Let's get us turned back around to the right.
Turning right, clear right.
Clear. Okay. So what's next is, this is me going to demo something. This is what we were to do if we were to lose our engine out here.
Okay.
Now, what you're going to find today is, we haven't discussed this yet, but what I want you to see is like kind of what's next and how quickly we go through troubleshooting when it comes to an engine out scenario. So if you're to lose your engine, you're going to see like we go through a lot of stuff, and then once I demo this, like we'll talk about it on the ground, kind of what exactly we were doing. So I like to demo it first. So my controls.
Your controls.
My controls. Let's say we're just flying around, just goofing off, and we just lost our engine. Well, we have some things we want to do. The ABCs. So A is for airspeed. So airspeed, we want to pitch for best glide. In this airplane, that's about 70 knots. So if we pitch for 70, that's going to get us as far as possible. So pitch for 70. Now B is for best landing spot. So where do you think would be a good landing spot?
Oh, Linder, we have that lake possibly there if it's emergency.
Yeah, so we could do that. You know, normally we could go to one of these little airstrips out here, and there's Wasilla right there. I actually don't think we'd make that.
Okay.
But for today, like, let's just land straight ahead. That looks really smooth out there. Let's just plan on landing.
Yep.
Actually, there's a really nice area straight ahead. So B is for best landing spot. A is for airspeed, 70 knots. B is for best landing spot. Next is C for carb heat and then checklist.
Okay.
Carb heat on. What if we had carb icing? In that case, then by turning this on, that might help us get the engine going again. And then checklist to make sure, like maybe we messed something up and we killed the engine by cutting the fuel to idle. So checklist, make sure that we can restart the engine, or checklist for the emergency restart portion. Seatbelts on, fuel selector valve on both. Mixture best power, that's full rich. Still pitching for 70. Throttle set, there's really not much you can do with that. Carb heat's already on. Landing and taxi lights on, that's fine. Make sure that our key is on both.
Okay.
Maybe we messed up and we went to off for some reason.
Right, bumped it or something.
And then make sure the master's on, which actually that master should not kill the engine.
Okay.
And then make sure that primer is in and locked. If the primer comes out, that might kill our engine.
Right, might flood it out.
So from here, it should either start or not restart. So just because the propeller's windmilling doesn't mean that you have a good engine. So from here, I'm going to just, if it doesn't restart, then I'm just going to land straight ahead in my field up here. But before we do that, I want to do some things. I want to squawk 7700 on the transponder that tells everyone around I'm emergency. And then I want to go to 121.5 on my radio, and I want to make a radio call. Mayday, mayday, 2 souls on board. We lost our engine about 5 miles southeast of Wasilla. We're going to put it down in the Kinnick Arm. If we have time, we can make some more radio calls. If not, I'm going to focus on landing straight ahead in this nice looking gravel area up here. So from here, if we weren't able to get the engine restarted, then we would want to secure the engine and shut everything down. So if we ended up having a rough landing, I'm getting a little slow here, I'm going to pitch down so we can glide as far as possible. If we ended up having, if we had a rough landing, we don't have like a fire or something. So, alright, seatbelts on, make sure you got your seatbelts on. Yep. We're going to crash right here. It'll be a controlled crash. We're not actually going to do that today. And on your check ride, you're not actually going to do this stuff, but this, you want to talk through it. Okay. Fuel selector off, so we turn off the fuel. Mixture off, our idle cutoff, throttle idle, carb heat can stay on.
Yeah.
Mags to off.
Master off.
We would leave the master on, so this is a decision you have to kind of make.
Okay.
I a lot of times will leave the master on. That allows me to use flaps.
Okay.
And then also, we can use the radios and the transponder stays active like I just talked about. So now we can use flaps to our advantage. In this place, we got all kinds of areas to land out here. But if we were trying to shoot for a field or something, we could use flaps to get us to that area. And from here, we want to just go around. So we're plenty high above the terrain. We're probably about 200, probably about 150 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and go around. So carb heat, power, flaps already up. So I'll put that nose on the horizon, and now we're just going to climb out. But if we were in a real emergency situation, we would just land straight ahead. And the last thing we'd want to do prior to touchdown is unlatch the doors.
Okay.
If we had a little bit of a firm landing, that might crush the door jams, and it might be difficult to get out. You could always kick the windows out right here, but it's just something to consider.
Okay.
All right. You ready to take back over?
Yep. My controls?
Your controls. Just climb us out right here. And let's listen to the weather.
Roger, we got you. We're going to come in front of you.
Just kind of spin up right here and go up to, let's go up to 2,000 feet for now.
Okay. I'm in 2,000. Clearing left.
Roger. All right, this is what I want you to do. We're already on the frequency for weather over at Palmer. I want you to get to where we can listen to it.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice. Weather advisories in effect for mountain obscuration. Pilot weather reports are requested. Contact Palmer Radio on 123.6 for traffic advisories. Advise on initial contact. You have Echo, Palmer Airport, information Echo, time 2159er Zulu. Wind 330 at Niner, visibility 10. Skies clear below 12,000. Temperature -5, dew point -9er, altimeter 29er, 59er.
29er, 59er? That hasn't changed.
That's 5.
NOTAMs, all surfaces, work in progress, snow removal. Runway 34, field condition 333, 80% compacted snow, 20% ice. Weather advisories in effect for mountain obscuration. Pilot weather reports are requested. Contact Palmer Radio on 123.6 for traffic advisories. Advise on initial contact. You have Echo, Palmer Airport, information Echo, time.
Echo.
Okay. We're still on with this Wasilla area out here. I'm looking up the radio frequency. And you'd want to use your map right here to see that what's that frequency right there?
123.6.
Yeah, so go ahead and give me 123.6.
On this one?
Yep. So the big one will get the front numbers.
Okay.
And right now you can see that we're kind of managing the airplane, looking outside, primarily doing that, and just as you can.
Okay.
Run this. Okay, so now this is what we call the scratch pad, so it's not actually active yet. To get that active, we'd have to push this swapper button over here.
Push that?
Yep, so now we're on with Palmer. So you can go ahead.
Or Wasilla, right?
Nope, we're on with Palmer now.
Okay.
We just swapped.
Yep.
Okay, you can kind of turn back to the right, and we'll head in and enter a downwind like we talked about. All right, I'm going to make a radio call. This is not really standard. Typically, you would call Palmer traffic, but since we're here in Alaska, we're going to call Palmer Radio to get an advisory on kind of the traffic situation. And yeah, go ahead and climb up to 2,500 and then kind of head towards the airport.
Oh, okay. Head towards the airport?
Yeah, we're going to try to do 2 touch and goes and a landing.
Okay.
At the end. Palmer Radio, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, 5 miles to the west with Echo, and bound for touch and goes.
Number 3148 X-ray, Palmer Radio, welcome. Traffic 1 aircraft in the pattern 34, 2 aircraft taxiing out for departure, runway 34.
Okay. So 1's fixing to depart. Alright, now we're looking for the airport. Like we talked about, we're going to enter like a midfield downwind, and the traffic pattern there is 1,300. So we're high, so you can go ahead and start descending down. And we're really looking for traffic when we do this. This is a really busy area. So there's the butte dead ahead.
Right.
So it'll be left of that. Okay, so once again, I said this on the ground, but you're going to be flying this whole time. Since this is the first time for you really doing landings, you're going to fill me on the controls.
Yep.
That doesn't mean I took over. I want you to maintain aircraft control while I kind of guide you through the controls. And as you move along through...
303 Lima, left crosswind, departing to the west.
Okay, he's departing on a crosswind.
Yep.
Okay, but I want you to primarily control the airplane. If I say my controls, then obviously pass it off to me. Okay, this purple line's taking you directly to the field too. Yeah, so head down to 1300.
Descending 13, or 13.
Looks like actually left more.
Palmer traffic, 22 Juliet Delta, crossing 1028.
Okay, she's taxiing over to the runway now. And it's beautiful out here. Now, I don't want to rush you.
Okay.
But I'm okay with you, like, keeping the power in to descend. That'll get us there faster.
Okay.
When we're descending, I typically have a little bit of power on.
Okay.
That'll get us there faster, and then basically the engine, when it's cold out like this, that'll keep it from getting too cold too fast. Still don't see, okay, I see the airport now. It's like a bare spot in the trees dead ahead. So come left a little bit more, because we want to enter on that midfield downwind like I talked about.
Palmer traffic, between Comanche 6 Yankee Lima, we're next to the downwind 434, full stop.
You can just stay here at 1500 for now until we get closer to the pattern.
Palmer traffic, 522 Juliet Delta, departing runway 34.
Okay, she's departing. Yeah, feed that power in, speed us up a little bit.
Palmer traffic, Twin Comanche 6 Yankee Lima, turning base 34, full stop.
He's turning base. I'm just keeping you high so we're not getting too close to these people down here. I've got this runway going this way is 2810. So 10 would be going that way. That runway's closed. So you're trucking straight towards the airport right now. And then you can kind of start seeing the airport 34, runway 3416 going that way. This is a good heading you got yourself on right here.
Okay.
Palmer traffic, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, 3 to the west, entering a left midfield downwind for 34, Palmer.
Palmer traffic, 522 Juliet Delta will be departing the left crosswind.
Okay. She's taking off. I don't know where exactly she is, but she's going to be departing in a left crosswind. Okay, so in the beginning, you're going to feel rushed. So it doesn't hurt to go ahead and run the beginning of the checklist right here.
Okay, pull that up.
Run your before landing flow, like I talked about, and then we'll get it up to everything except where we are being the numbers. So seatbelts on.
Seatbelts on, fuel selector both.
Yep.
Landing lights on, full rich.
Yep, mixture best power, which is full rich, landing and taxi lights on. We'll get the rest here in just a second. So enter midfield is closer to that other runway there. Alright, so you can go ahead and head down to pattern altitude of 1,300 feet. Just keep trucking straight ahead here.
Descending 1300.
Yep, so pull that power back a little bit because you're going to build some airspeed up. And just remember, we want to be about a mile away from the runway. So actually this road right here, this highway is actually a really good spot to just kind of make your right-hand turn and just kind of enter the downwind that way.
Right now?
So yeah, you can go ahead and be a little farther out today. We're brand new, so go ahead and level off here, nose up. I'll make the radio call. Palmer traffic, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, left, midfield downwind 34, Palmer. Okay, yeah. We're a little bit out here, but that's okay. You're new. I want to set us up for success as much as possible. Alright, so we're beam the numbers. We're a little past.
Alright, yep.
Power to roughly 1,700. Nose up the airplane just a little bit. Get us in the wide arc. Get that first notch of flaps down.
Notch 1, 2, 3.
Wait till we're in the wide arc to do that.
Okay.
Okay, and pitching for 70. Carb
Pitching
heat
for
on.
70. Carb heat on.
Yep. Take a look at the runway. This is where, go ahead and turn. We're kind of wide. Turn base.
Turning base.
Palmer traffic, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, left base 34, Palmer. Nose up, pitching for 70. Don't use quite so much bank. Pitching for 70 knots. So somewhere right in here is where I want you to really start having that hand on the throttle.
Okay.
And we're mainly using pitch for airspeed here.
That's right.
So nose back down. You corrected it there, but like you have to catch it and go back the other way. There. Okay, go ahead and lower that second notch.
1, 2, 3.
Yep, and you're kind of getting into some pilot-induced oscillations, so make sure you're using that trim.
All right.
Yeah, this is looking great. Okay.
7.
Yeah, looking for 70. Go ahead and lower that last notch of flaps. Pitch for 70.
Pitching for 70.
And go ahead and start making your turn. Palmer traffic, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, base to final, 34, Palmer. Nose down. Okay, now we're pitching for 60, so get that speed under control first.
Okay.
Yeah, keep that idle power for just a second.
Okay.
And I'll let you know when you start feeding that back in.
Okay.
Yeah, so just let the airplane kind of sink down. We were a little high. That's okay. Pitch up for 60.
Pitch.
A little less power. If you're at idle, that's okay. Nose up just a little bit. Start coming out of it. Nope, don't flare too high. Nose up, nose up, nose up, nose up, nose up. Right there. Now you ballooned a little bit. Just keep it.
Okay.
There you go. All right. Take a breath.
All right.
Carb heat off.
Carb heat off.
Flaps up.
Flaps up.
We're just waiting here. Okay. Flaps are up.
Flaps are up.
Power.
Power.
Oil pressure's in the green. Full power. Full power. Airspeed's alive.
Airspeed's coming alive.
Waiting for 55 knots.
55 knots.
55 knots. Rotate that trim. There you go. First landing.
There you go.
All right. All right, my controls.
Your controls.
My controls. I just want to talk through that for just a second. That was pretty good for a first landing. So basically you started to round out too high. And then I said, no, we want to nose down a little bit. That's completely normal for it to be like that, for you to round out too high. And then as you got back down, then you rounded out too low. And then you probably felt me on the controls at that point. And we rounded out the correct position from there. And then, so you go to idle power, which you did, and then we touched down smooth. You ready to take back over?
My controls.
Your controls.
My controls.
Your controls. Just drive us out right here for a minute. We'll drive to about 1,000, then we'll turn crosswind.
Okay.
Yeah, so right here, 300 feet to pattern altitude is where you want to turn crosswind.
Turn left.
Roger, clear left. It might be a little bit easier this time, coming from the pattern.
Okay.
Gentle corrections to get us on final, and then once we're on final, then we want to come in at a 3-degree glide slope roughly. And we landed a little bit too long, but that's fine. Yeah, so there's 12, so come up one more 100 feet.
Okay.
Pull that power back a little bit. That's good. So nose down a little bit. All right, clear left.
Clear left.
Roger. Palmer traffic, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, left downwind 34, Palmer. Hey, use that trim. Trim is your friend when we're trying to make these.
Forward information, Foxtrot available, altimeter 2960.
2960, that's close enough. I'm happy with what I'm seeing there. All right, go ahead and turn downwind here. We want to parallel the runway. All right, so run your checklist. Seat belts on.
Seat belts on. Fuel selector on both. Then we'll do carb heat.
Mixture best power.
Mixture best power.
Landing and taxi lights on.
Taxi lights are on.
Pull that power back a little bit. You're climbing on me. This is completely normal. Everyone does this in the beginning. Struggles to kind of get things under control, but small corrections will get us there. Now we're just waiting till we get to beam those numbers, and we can start heading towards that runway. All right, keep coming down a little bit. We're 200 feet high. Yeah, so a beam our touchdown point.
Beam the numbers. So
yeah.
Carb heat on. First notch of flaps.
Yep.
Is that in the right order or?
Yep.
Okay.
Wait till you're, make sure you get in the wide arc.
All right.
So raise that nose to get in the wide arc.
Wide.
That's a safe speed for flaps.
Okay.
Okay, now lower the flaps. First.
1, 2, 3.
Okay. All right, so the point in this is we're trying to descend. So if we're at 70 knots, we got the first notch of flaps in. That's going to help us descend. Less power will help us get down. If we were landing without flaps, like if we were just having all the flaps up, We need to go like really low power to get us down. All right, turn left.
Turning left.
We're getting actually slightly blown over. So we're gonna have to kind of crab to the left next time, so it seems like we're actually got some wind from the right there, or from the left, but it's pushing us right. Okay, so this is base, so I'll make a radio call and then you can lower that second notch of flaps. Palmer traffic, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray. Left base, 34, Palmer. Looking good. You got that? Go ahead and lower that second notch of flaps.
Palmer traffic 3543 Tango, east at 2500 inbound, 5 miles out for 34, information Foxtrot.
Pitch for 70.
70.
A little bit of power because we're going to get too low if you don't.
Okay.
A little bit more power.
Information Foxtrot.
Just kind of watching your runway there, just kind of playing it out. This is a good altitude. You might be getting slightly low. You can kind of feel us sinking, so a little bit more power. You feel it like nose up like that, give yourself some nose down trim. Help yourself out. And you can see when it did that, it slowed us down, so we want to pitch down and get that airspeed back. Yeah, this is looking way better. Alright, turn.
Left.
Yep. Palmer traffic, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray. Left base 34, Palmer. Leave me alone, people. Alright, now I'll lower that last notch of flaps, pitching for 60.
For 60.
So pitch up.
And lowering last notch of flaps.
And fight against it. Up, nose down.
Down.
We're getting slow.
Slow.
So power, power, power. There you go. Now we're looking good. About a fist length above the dash. Nose down just a touch. Less power, less power. Come right just a bit. A little bit more power. Power, power. Look, nose down when you do that. There you go. Looking better. Come right a little bit more. Yeah, this is looking good. Power, 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 power. A little less power. Come on down, come on down. Gently pull the power to idle. Raise the nose, raise the nose, raise the nose. Right there, pull that nose right there and just freeze it here. Just keep it here. Yeah, pretty good. Take a breath.
Alright.
Carb heat off.
Carb heat off.
Flaps
Flaps up. Flaps are up.
Power.
Power.
Palmer traffic 3543 Tango entering downwind out of 45 for 34.
Airspeed
Speed coming alive.
Oil pressure's in the green. Good controls.
And rotating.
Yep. There you go. Excellent. Eye controls.
Air controls.
Eye controls. Yeah, so that was really good. And what you're doing is very common. You're going past the controls you need to make, so slightly less control inputs.
Okay.
And then we got into the round out and flare, and you were just a little bit slow on the round out. And then basically as we're starting to flare, as the airplane sinks down, you also need to pull at the same rate that we're sinking. So get the nose on the horizon, get the cowling on the horizon, and just as the airplane's sinking, we'll pull back. Okay? Very good, though. Ready to take back over?
My controls.
Your controls.
My controls.
A little bit more right rudder. Might have set you up for failure there. All right, let's make this the last one, and then we'll go get some fuel, and we'll make another video.
Palmer radio, Cessna 76410, entering the airspace 5 Butte, with information Foxtrot.
Cessna 76410, Palmer radio, welcome. Traffic is a Cessna was 5 west about 3 minutes ago, inbound to the field.
Thank you, sir. 410.
So somebody's 3 minutes out. They may be a slight conflict.
Palmer traffic 3543
Okay.
base 434.
Okay, he's on base. So we should go ahead and make your left turn. He's on
Turn
base,
left.
so I won't make a crosswind call, but like if I didn't know where he was, this is where I might make that crosswind call.
Okay.
Excellent. So yeah, a little bit less aggressive control inputs.
Okay.
So we don't go past those controls we need to make. And then basically once we get into the round out, you can feel us kind of sinking towards the runway. Round out a little bit more aggressive on the round out.
Okay.
And as we get into that landing attitude where that nose is just slightly higher, clear left.
Clear left.
Where that nose is slightly higher, just keep that nose there, just cowling maybe just under the horizon.
Okay.
And then it's just going to take more and more and more backstick pressure. All right, so this is kind of where I like to be in the pattern, a little bit closer like you see here.
Okay.
This is almost right at a mile. We may be slightly close, but we're actually getting pushed that way.
Right.
So that means you kind of need to crab that direction so we can, kind of stay this distance from the runway. Palmer traffic, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, left downwind 34, full stop, Palmer. Okay, so we're a little high, so pull that power back and run your checklist for me.
Okay, seatbelts on, fuel mixtures on both. And that full rich.
Yep. Landing and taxi lights on.
Taxi lights on.
We'll get the rest here in just a second.
Okay.
Alright, so we're not in the wide arc, so you can see that we're fast.
Yep.
Go ahead and pull that power back just a little bit, just get yourself slowed down, give yourself some time. A good airspeed in the pattern is about 80 knots.
Okay.
That way you always are below the wide arc. So if you need the flaps, you could throw them in. Yeah, so raise that nose up a little bit. A little less aggressive on those controls. Yeah, right here. Yeah, this is looking good. Feed that power in just a touch to keep us from getting too slow. Yeah, but this is good. Nose up a little bit to keep us from sinking.
Our best in numbers. The carb heat
so
on.
Right here. So yeah, pull power first. Power should be power, then carb heat.
Full power, you said?
Less power, less
Oh, less power.
Yeah, power and then carb heat on.
Carb heat on.
First, wait till we're in the wide we are. First notch of flaps. One,
First,
two.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, normally somewhere right in here is where I want you to turn, but keep driving straight. I want to get stable on final here. Nobody's out here. And this is going to be a full stop landing, so don't get in a rush on the brakes. Just kind of coast down the runway. All right, so clear left.
Clear left.
Make your base turn.
Making base turn.
Palmer traffic, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, left base 34, full stop, Palmer. Looking good.
Pitching for 70 knots.
Pitching for 70, go ahead and lower that second notch of flaps.
1, 2, 3.
Very important that we don't get slow out here. You're not getting slow, I'm just letting you know.
Yep.
Because we can stall very easily, especially when we're in a turn. Put some power in, we're sinking. A little more power. Take a look at the runway. You can kind of feel like when we're sinking, and now we're nosing up.
Yep.
So you might need to trim nose down a little bit to keep you from doing that. There you go. More power. Fight that nose from going up and retrim it. Trim, trim, trim is your friend in the pattern here. Okay, so we're getting ready to turn final here. Clear left.
Clearing left.
And as you turn, go ahead and roll your full flaps.
Palmer radio, this is
Okay.
471 for Foxtrot. At Blue River, taxi to runway
2, 3.
34 for departure.
Palmer traffic, Skyhawk 3148 X-ray, final 34, Palmer.
34, one aircraft inbound from the west. Thanks a lot.
Okay, less power, just a touch. Come right a little bit, we're getting blown over. Nose up.
3543 Tango on a downwind for 34.
Gentle corrections, gentle corrections. A little bit less power, a little bit nose down. A little bit nose up.
Palmer traffic,
This looks
Cessna,
good.
4
Nose
miles
down
to
a little
the
bit.
southwest.
Less power.
Gonna enter the
Nose up.
for 34 at a 45.
Nose down just a touch. Less power. Gentle corrections, nose up, nose up. Nose up just a little bit. Idle power. Nose up, nose up, nose up. Right rudder. Give me left aileron. That's going to keep us. Yeah, there you go. Oh, I barely even got on the controls on that. You should be proud of that
Good.
one. So just roll it straight ahead. There's no rush. There's no rush. Just relax. Get on both brakes.
Brakes.
Just gently bring us to just gently slow us down enough to make that one right there. I know we can make that one. All right, clear left.
Clearing left.
Yep, just taxi us over there. Oh, my controls for a second.
Air controls.
I'm just trying to get us off the runway
Yep.
here. No, you didn't do anything wrong. I just
Yep.
don't want to. It's kind of busy today, so I don't want to sit there too long. But you didn't do anything wrong. Okay, your controls.
My controls.
Your controls. Okay, just taxi us past this sign right here, and let's run the after landing checklist. Excellent. Yeah, run the after landing checklist.
All right.
Hold those brakes for me. Palmer
After.
traffic, Skyhawk 314 X-ray, clear of runway 34. Taxi to park.
Good.
What'd you think?
Sounds. The last one I felt like I actually had an idea.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And now we just go from there and build on what you know.
Yep.
Good work. My controls.
Your controls.
My controls.